Ladies and gentlemen, it's another Monday night. Got the Balance Through Art show coming at you hot from the Hotel RL, Salt Lake City, Utah. My name is Austin Madsen, the mastermind of this crazy show. Tonight we got an awesome guest, one of my best friends, Levi Manley.
Hey, everybody.
It's actually his last name, Manley. It's pretty cool. But yeah, start off with a little song, and then we'll learn a lot about him and talk about life.
Thank you, Austin, otherwise known as A-Tramp, because he does travel the land like a renegade or a tramp. There's an old saying, put God first and everything else falls into place. So this is one of my oldest songs. And I won't tell you who it's about, but maybe you can guess. We look to you for miles and miles around. We know you can be found. We know you walked the ground. I'm yours for the making. I haven't heard a voice so plain and sure. You manifest yourself and now I'm feeling pure. I'm anticipating that time when you will come back again. I know I'd give it all for you to be my friend. My friend. That's it. Thanks. A nice short one to get us started. Hey, brother.
What's up, man?
Chilling.
Went
hiking up in the canyons today. Salt Lake is very blessed with some beautiful mountains, wonderful people.
Amen. Where'd you go?
We went up Big Cottonwood Canyon, and it's called the Mary's Lake Trail. So it's right at Brighton. So you actually leave from the majestic lift right there and just follow it up and go see a couple cool lakes.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was nice.
There's still some snow up there?
We definitely did some butt sliding and some shoe skiing on the snow. There's definitely snow.
Sick, man. So, Levi is yet another friend that I met at a dear place that I love, Bountiful Open Mic. I forget the name of the song. I know it's like just this heavy, chunky song in like E major. Something about
what you were made for.
Yeah, that one. I hear this song and I'm like, I think that guy's gonna be my friend. And
then I saw this man do this caterpillar move up onto the stage, and everybody loved him. I was like, that high school kid's gonna be my friend. But he was actually 20-something.
Levi's like an older brother to me. We went hiking like a week later. Was it Lone Peak we did?
Yeah, I don't know. The adventure started early.
Oh, yeah.
I think even that night we longboarded a little bit or something.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for those who've never seen this show, it's called the Balance Through Art show. And what Balance Through Art is, it's a branded community that educates people about the life cycle through some crazy art and experiences, and how to find a positive balance in life through art and healthy living. And I am all about people, do more of what you love and less of what you don't love. I think that's just kind of a key to a happy life. And if you don't know what you love, hey, you're still alive, you got time, figure it out. But, apparently, Mr. Manley, we're getting like a hot, but it's all right. Figure it out. Yeah. Mr. Manley, he loves the guitar. with a host of other things. So how did you get involved with music, or did it start on guitar? Was it piano, or how did it start for you?
Ever since I've been a kid, I've been singing. I found this out in my adult life, actually. Grammy. I grew up with my grandma for a few years, and she would take me to church, and, I'd be messing around like any kid. And then all of a sudden, if anyone would get up for a musical number, playing the piano, singing, violin, whatever, she says I would just stop everything and just stare. And then when the people would get done, I'd go back to whatever I was doing. And so I guess music has just been a part of me ever since I was a little kid, and sang in choirs and whatnot. Sang up at the Capitol, Salt Lake. How's it going? Welcome to Red Lion. And in like Glee Club or Festival of Trees, charitable stuff. And eventually a friend let me borrow a guitar, and I made up this song purely vocals. It was about this girl from a long time ago, of course. And I started learning some power chords, and I made up a little song, and that's been 13 years ago, I think, or so, 14 years ago. So
It's awesome, man. So guitar was like really the first instrument you really picked up?
Yeah,
or?
I mean, recorder. What's that one little the organ thing?
A little jaw harp?
Yeah.
Where it's like, wow, 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 wow.
I never played it, but I always thought those were cool. Yeah, but pretty much guitar and voice and a little bit of slapping a desk every once in a while trying to get a beat, but nothing like your higher echelons of musicianry.
That's the beauty of really anything in life, right? There's the extremely refined things like pearls and diamonds and mountains. Then there's things that they're still beautiful, but they might be extremely imperfect. They might be very young, haven't been around too long. That's kind of what makes life interesting, I think.
Yeah, buddy. Life is full of ups and downs, but I have found that the trials are what makes us better if we let them refine us, and choose God instead of choosing anger or hate or whatever. So, yeah, I agree with you. A little bit of everything you get with life.
So before we go into your next song, so you have a stage name. What's the name of your act?
A Light in the Darkness. One-man band. Tonight we got 2.
Oh, yeah, and we totally practiced.
Yeah, it came out of some scriptures. Jesus Christ says he was a light in the darkness. And it just stuck in. I want to be like him and use my music to help people. And so that just, for a long time, just like a thorn in the side, kept bugging me. So finally I made it official, set up a little Facebook page, said even though it's just me, my band is a light in the darkness. And I think it's kind of appropriate for the music that I play for the most part.
For sure, man. Let's relish in some more light.
Let's do it. Do you see where my set list went? In the guitar case. Oh, man. All right, we're going to go right into some rock and roll, people. So if you don't like loud music, just go outside. Or plug your ears. I wrote this song just thinking about all the things that life brings up when you're growing up and unexpected challenges. And when the end comes, I hope that I'm still trying to do what's right, trying to live in that light, So it's about that. I just wrote this intro a few weeks ago, so we'll, see if I can get through it. When you take a look down the road and you see the wisdom of the young and old, there's a magic and a wonder, a heavenly spell that they're under. Please be my guide and my sail, a firm foundation that I fail. And me to play out in the rain, accept and let go of the pain. When the end comes, will I be found holding on? Our lives moving mysterious ways. What you choose and the rest is yours. But you're one of his brave. Choose a path and get yourself. There's something more, there's got to be a why, a reason to keep living, not to die, a case against the doubt of looking in and looking out. A mountain pass above the haze, a good calm breeze on summer days, a patient word for soft miles from a mother's voice to call the child. The moment when you know it's love, when the light breaks through the clouds of love. To lend a hand until it is gone, or me to stand when the end goes. So that's a humble song. I need help. Thanks, buddy. It is hot in Utah. We came here from Maine, and Maine is at least 20 degrees cooler, and it is at least 500% more humid. And we're just drying out like raisins over here.
Check, check, check. Yeah. We'll keep working with it. What was the name of that last song?
When the end comes.
When the End Comes. There's one line from that song you want our audience members to take away. What would it be? And where did the inspiration for that line come from?
Say it again. Say it again.
If there was one line from that song that you'd like your audience members to take away from that performance, what would it be, and where did the inspiration come for that line?
Wow. Okay. Right now I'm thinking of a patient word so soft and mild from a mother's voice to calm a child. Because I'm a parent And I see recently, my wife's pregnant, we're about to have a baby, how important it is for parents to keep their cool and to try to be the adult in the situation. And so I think right now in my life, I would hope that we could take that away, that we've got to lead these kids into a better place, or else, where are we going?
I was there the day you became a husband and a father. So
Thank you. It was just a few blocks up.
just a few blocks
Salt Lake
away over
Temple.
at Temple Square. So this beautiful lady over here, Levi's wife, Jody,
Hi, Jody.
came from a previous marriage, had 3 kids. And so when you got married, bam, 3 kids.
Yesterday, bachelor. Today, drowning.
So, but I kind of want to talk about that because that's like it's a pretty unique experience. And I think we could kind of talk about this life cycle a bit. Give me one second. I'm trying to figure out what this feedback's coming from. It might be that mic. It could be coming off too hot. Maybe that's a good idea. Nope, bad idea. Feedback. Huh.
Sounds okay right now.
Okay.
Maybe we just shouldn't talk anymore.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Just stare.
Answer the question, Steven.
I'm sure that is a girl at my work. It's like her favorite thing now. So part of what we talk about here at the show is this little thing called the life cycle. I first kind of heard about it from growing up LDS in the Book of Mormon. And as life went on, I realized this is a cycle that is purveying through all cultures, all people. It's not unique to any one book or one story. It's kind of the story of all of our lives. And essentially, what this cycle is, I illustrated it with a little visual art piece. I was going through a really hard time, needing like some sort of moral compass. Mm-hmm. Felt like I was drowning, but I didn't even have 3 kids. So just single,
You'll be
lost.
fine. You'll get there.
But in a kind of a creative outburst, I just drew this, and I kind of knew what it meant when I drew it. But it was kind of a dark time I was going through when I did it. And so when I would look back on it, like in my journals and stuff, it would kind of like be like PTSD. I was like, I don't want to think about that, But over the years, I kind of started looking at it, and I'm like, there might really be something here that could help people. And so I've given meaning to it over the past 8 years since I created it. And essentially, it illustrates this life cycle. So there's 4 areas we kind of find ourselves in life, represented by 4 different elements. So, or symbols, whatever you want to call it. So up top, you have a star, the North Star. It symbolizes balance. We often fall out of balance because of pride, and we fall into a state of pride, which is symbolized by fire. And at some point, life kind of throws us some curveballs. We get a little defeated. And that water, or that little Jesus fish, symbolizes humility and kind of puts out that fire. And then at some point we realize, I want to get back to that happy, balanced life that I had. But the journey to get there is often like hiking a mountain. And it can be hard, but it's through that journey, like you were saying earlier, your trials kind of like, that's where we find our strength,
Yep.
And so I've broken each section down using the musical notes. And so we'll begin with pride, and the 2 things that make up pride is boastfulness and conceitedness. So, boastfulness in and of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just kind of depends on who or what you're boasting about. Conceitedness, if it's, self-conceit, it's pretty gnarly. It's kind of the epitome of pride. But you can also be, kind of conceited and full of other things. Rather than just yourself or whatever. So, if you don't mind, I think it'd be kind of cool to talk about your journey of becoming a husband and father, and like kind of where this life cycle has taken you through that, specific part of your life. So yeah, beginning with pride, um, early on, like, how did you see maybe boastfulness or conceitedness coming into that new life?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it is man's nature that when we get in charge of something, we oftentimes power trip, and we go a little bit too far, trying to establish our territory or whatever. And definitely that happened with the kids, trying to like put them in their place. I'm the boss around here. You say please to me, that kind of thing. And pretty shortly after those incidences happen, comes the deflated feeling and the humility of, oh man, I yelled at him again or whatever, and I need to do something about it. And then the hard part is going back and saying sorry, and I'm just imperfect like everybody else. I'm sorry if I hurt you in any way, and I'm trying to do better. And it seems like we just go through that every other day, of things are going kind of smooth, and then a little bit too much, and then the anger and the pride and the fall. It's, almost a daily occurrence. But I'd say all in all, it's been a really cool experience and a great experience because of the humbling, and I don't think I would have learned the things I have in any other way. And what can you say, when there's someone else to help you along through, like my beautiful wife and even my kids sometimes. Who can say anything against that? Someone else to hop on the journey with you and go through all that together. So I would say through all that cycle, we've actually been more bonded. Just having gone through it.
It's cool, man.
Thank you.
Well, I'd love to hear another song and
Yeah.
join you on for some percussion again.
Thank you. It sounds good. All right. So that's my beautiful wife over there. Like I said, I wrote her this song before we got married. And it's another song that I thought of that related with humility because I kind of was laying all myself out there and making one of the hardest choices I've ever made, as well as she was. So I had to be humble through that and kind of bear it all, if you will. Do you want me? Kind of like that. And it's called Ought to Be. That was my Austin voice. Nope. Do you want to know what it's like if you should be my wife and what things that I see? I've been going to church for years and facing many fears, always knowing it keeps on showing what we are to be. What's important in my life is seeing through clear skies and knowing God loves me. Thank you guys. You two are awesome. Thanks, brother. I saw a little movement over there. I don't think so.
Oh, no.
Couple more, hopefully. Yeah. Yep. Him and I met at an open mic, and we write all our own songs, and that was 7 years ago. So we've been buddies, and he's got this show, so he invited me down. I just came back from Maine a week ago tomorrow, so just got back, and there you go. Oh, really? Oh, cool. This is
That's
her?
awesome, man.
This is her? No, is this her? Oh, cool. Well, maybe bring her next time. Every Monday at 7 o'clock. Yeah, you guys can play a little.
Little vacation.
Yeah.
So where are you from?
Oh, nice.
I bet. Oh, yeah.
Right. It's a pretty big market to break into. You kind of got to somehow sneak in there. But yeah, definitely. Southern California. Maybe. He does.
Yeah, me and my brother have a band. We're called Madsen. And, yeah, there's actually a pretty good growing music scene up here in Davis County, just like 15 minutes north of here. And this open mic that we met at, it's just like, it's kind of this incubator for like really unique and cool artists. Like that doesn't sound like anyone else from anywhere. Like it's really cool. And just this last week, I finally just got up on the stage. I was like, why don't we make like a record label, like just for us, you know? Put out like a sampler CD, like where we each have like one song, and just like start send them out to people, you know. And like,
Nice.
if one of us gets picked up, then we can just like help each other out. I'll open for you, you know, and like whatever. But you know, it's just like I know I've thought about I'm going to move to Nashville, move to Austin, move to California somewhere, but it's like if you can't do the whole like hometown hero thing, there's just like nothing better than that, you know.
Yeah, man. So
Yeah.
maybe if you leave contact info, we'll call you and you can book us a gig down there.
All right. And what was your name?
Because you're a pilot, I promise you have way more than Levi. Yeah. What's your name? What is your name? Ray. Sweet. Like Ray Ban. So this is what live music's all about, everybody. You meet some awesome people. I don't even know how to take that.
What's your name? What's your name? So you're a flight attendant then? Great. Just divulging everyone's secrets.
too. He's got some great stuff too. Yeah. See you, Ray, man. Thank you. That was awesome. A little bit of interaction.
Oh yeah.
I noticed
that's exactly what this show is about.
Yeah.
You know, you got a talent, share it, network. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. That guy can fly planes like a boss, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Probably hasn't killed anyone yet.
He's like, actually. Just kidding.
So you were saying earlier, quite a few of your songs are about humility in a sense.
Yeah, I think so.
Would you say in general most of your music is that way, or?
Music is an emotional release, so it's the release of whatever emotions I'm feeling, and oftentimes when a song comes to me is when I'm most stressed and pressured, and it squeezes out. So probably a lot of humility, tying all those things together, like, please help, I can't handle my life anymore, and then this song comes out, you know?
Yeah, there's something so true to that, you know.
I do have a pride one at the end,
Okay.
so that it's not all humble.
So let's talk a little bit about humility. So often when I do this show, I say there's kind of two ways to go through this cycle, unconsciously and consciously.
Right.
It's when we're going through life unconsciously, we're kind of the more mammalian, animal, selfish, looking out for number one, right? And, you know, with boastfulness and conceitedness, you know, you think of the young bird out there puffing up his feathers. Mate!
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Something to prove.
Look how cool I am.
Yep.
And, yeah, and that's when we kind of disconnect from our higher power. We kind of go through life more like animals, and, you know, and we tend to kind of keep running into the same trials, just maybe with a different mask on. The trial's a different mask. But we're going through it consciously. It becomes a learning experience, you know.
Right.
Instead of asking, why me? Like, everything revolves around you. It's like, you know, why not me? You know, what can I learn from this?
Right.
So, coming out of pride, the thing that kind of catapults us out of it is some sort of defeat. And almost right along with that defeat is this ego death, you know. Our feathers are all puffed up, and then crocodile comes up and, or whatever, you know.
A bird-eating crocodile.
Oh, yeah. So, when you find yourself in a humbling situation and your legs are, in a sense, chopped out from underneath of you, you know, do you usually react, you know, in a typical way, or is it a little bit different every time, or what's that like for you?
For me, because I've gone through so many trials for so many years, it's almost defaulted to just pray. It's almost almost always my first thing is pray, and then the other default is just start working hard to fix whatever it is that needs fixed, you know. But yeah, I mean, it probably depends on the day and what's going on. And oftentimes it'll be isolation as well. Isolate myself to try to figure things out and all that, like kind of we like to do. But usually when I actually go back to the community, you know, and that's when I can overcome that defeat, you know, when I finally just admit everything that went wrong or whatever and just move forward. And I think usually that's the healing process from the defeat, is that I actually go back to my camp, you know, and tell everyone, I'm really sorry, and I really need to be better. I got a little crazy there. So yeah, it's probably a mixture of all kind of things.
For sure, man. You're basically on the honors course. You went straight into the strength part, and that's awesome because like you recognize what works for you. I want to talk a little bit about this isolation versus surrounding yourself with your tribe or whatever, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think it's human nature that when things are going your way, then all of a sudden they aren't. That you kind of are like a tortoise and you just kind of go into your shell, For me personally, my reason for doing such is, I don't like burdening people with my problems.
Right.
If I got myself into it, I'm going to get myself out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is, I came across, it's kind of like indirectly from this quote, or it's not even really a quote, but I just read somewhere that, every day we're creating a living legacy.
Yeah.
You might bump into someone once on the street and you're in just a really bad mood that day. And if they were to just see like a picture of your face 5 years later, oh, that was a dick. That was that jerk that cut me off in traffic. I'll never forget that guy's face,
I waved to him and he didn't wave back.
Yeah. And we just make that immediate assessment about people from like one sliver of their existence,
Right.
And, and I often think, what is this legacy? What is this, if someone were just to randomly meet me once and then bump into me 10 years later, what would their opinion of me be,
Right.
Not that, I have any control over that really, but I kind of do.
Yeah.
You might be the nicest person and people still hate you. I mean, they killed Jesus. He was like the nicest guy ever,
Right.
There's plenty of really good
Gandhi.
people that, talented athletes that people just hate because they're not on their team. But as far as this isolation thing goes, when I start to notice that I'm not liking who I am or what I'm going through, that's when I just run to the mountains. I go to my room because it's like, what if someone were to see me on my bad day?
Yeah.
And they're like, and maybe that's that one little ripple in their day that maybe sets them on a bad path or whatever,
My next song's called California. Word.
Sounds good, Ray. Yeah. It's kind of a little talk show, We just talk about life and... Oh, you're good,
No,
man.
we love it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
The camera's right over there. We forgot to mention you're on camera.
Up by the lights, they actually live stream it to all the rooms in the hotel, to their whole chain. You're on TV right now, man. Oh, yeah.
You're famous, Ray.
But it's pretty cool. So, yeah, if you're, like, there's multiple hotel RLs. There's quite a few in California, I think. And, yeah, and they have these. They're called living stages in their whole chain of hotels. So yeah, I think there's one in LA. Yeah, so if your girlfriend ever wanted to like get up and play for a bigger crowd virtually, it's kind of a little thing to do.
Definitely. Oh, thanks, man. This is from my brother. Yeah, I got it from him. I understand though. You got to eat when you got to eat, so do what you need to do. You got to eat when you got to eat, so do what you need to do, yeah. We went hiking today, and I definitely stuffed my face when we got back. So.
Heck yeah, man.
What if... Yeah, thanks, Ray.
Isolation, something like that.
Start to go in isolation. You're like, I want to hide myself because I don't want them to see this poop face.
Right.
Something like that. My wife is looking at us like we're a couple of crazy people.
It's true. We are.
Hey, honey.
All right. I'll kind of tie that one off. I'd love to hear another song, but
We're not going YouTube stars anytime soon, apparently.
It's a process. So you're kind of where the healing comes from, though, is like kind of have to admit I'm broken. Sometimes we get ourselves in holes that we can't get out of. You're stuck on the side of a cliff. Someone has to lower a rope to you.
Right.
The reason I kind of use this imagery of the swimming downward little Jesus fish there is, I don't want to say often, it's perpetually. We are below, where we should be. We're beggars, Our feet are just stuck in the muck, the bottom of the pond, and he has a way of coming down and pulling us out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think a lot of people fail to realize is, oh, I can't see God, and this Jesus guy was just a dude, and whatever. Yeah, whatever. But God works in mysterious ways. He works through people. He works through community. He doesn't have to. But I think that's his way of teaching us love. Heck yeah.
What's the other one? The bird one. Free bird.
Blackbird.
There you go.
Singing in the dead of night. So this, you're on the honors course, like I said. So it's when we realize we're fragile, the way we can get to the top of the mountain is a greater power. And on the topic of mountains, you could say a guide, right? If you've never been to the top of Denali, probably be helpful to have a experienced guide that's been to the top a few times,
Yes. Not just probably, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm not perfect at this, but we were just talking the other day about how I spent years just running by myself up in the mountains, kind of isolating myself, trying to figure out all my problems. But it's been through doing things like this and actually getting in with the people, in with the community. You get in a room full of 5 people, that's why people go to therapy groups, is you have a therapist there, but it's really the collective experience of the group that is most likely going to give you new insight of how to get through whatever you're going through.
Right, different perspective, the whole thing, yeah.
Right. But yeah, that's just kind of a little bit of my thought on that. Let's hear another song and hear some words from you.
So this song is called California, and it has to do with balance. I went to California once on this trip, and I had all my morals put in front of me. What are you going to do? What are you going to choose? Hollywood can be a crazy place, and you can get in a lot of trouble. So I had this choice. What am I going to do? Am I going to go back to my old self, or am I going to try something better? So this song's a little bit about California and that experience. I think I left a piece of my soul in California. It's strange, and I think there should have been a sign to warn you. What is it I am missing? Maybe I should just keep moving where the sun is so high. Moving where the breeze can clean out these tired eyes. Not sure what I will find. You ever play Nintendo? You might understand. You might understand the next lyric then. Holding down the reset button again. Never quite making it all the way to the end. Well, isn't that the joy of these revolutions? With each new spin there comes a chance at a new solution. I won't get stuck in the way I wish could be. I'll take time to ponder the gifts given so graciously. Now I don't have to keep falling. Open your ears and you can hear him calling. Not sure what I will find. I'm sure it is worth a try. Keep fighting the fight and let him have my life. My life. Thanks, brother. My life. Awesome, dude. We've been playing for, I don't know, 15 years. Where's St. John's at?
It's in New York.
Oh, in New York.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
from New York. Yeah, that was ridiculous. I'm coming back.
Sweet, dude.
That was awesome.
We just came from Maine.
Serious?
Yeah, so we're just a little bit up above
Dude,
you.
you guys just crushed it. You guys, what are you called?
Well, my band's A Light in the Darkness.
Okay.
His band is Madsen. We're just
Okay, you guys
buddies.
different bands? Yeah. You killed it. I'm coming back. I'm getting beer and coming back.
See you, brother. Hopefully we'll be here. You want me to keep going? This is the last one I had. It's about pride.
When he comes back, we'll just jam out for him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So we just go on to the next one? All right.
Well,
Okay.
one second.
I have a few stories of that one, too.
Okay. This is where I like to stand up. And I say that every time. Oh.
Get the mic.
Okay. We've made it full circle. Yeah. California, man.
Be careful down there.
Test the will. Oh, man. What was that line? Something about, right in the beginning about you like rhymed warn ya with California.
Yeah, I think I left my soul in California. Or, yeah, it's strange, and I think there should have been a sign to warn you.
Yeah. So when we often go into strange lands where, you know, flowing with milk and honey, and the women are beautiful, and the beer's on tap, and, you know,
The water's great and everything.
we need something to remind us where we came from, to remind us of our goals. Not even so much our goals, but what really actually matters. You know, being human, we love sensations, you know. We love the next beautiful woman. We love the next, you know, crazy drug. We love the next delicious food, you know. Anything that pleases the senses, we are, like, just prone to, like, chase after. But, like, by a show of hands, who's gone places like, just the kind of a scriptural thing to say, but, broad and wide is the road to destruction, The path of least resistance often leads to very treacherous waters, I've been on the Snake River a few times, and there's sections where you can be in a floaty, and it's just like calm and wide and peaceful, and next thing you know, it just channels down into this death canyon, and you're dead, or close to it.
Yeah.
And so, like, the reason I made all this was, I needed something to look at to kind of remind me when I'm going down those dark paths or into those unknown territories. Sometimes you don't know what you're getting yourself into, then it could be just a landmine of temptation or whatever. But we need to know where the North Star is. If you don't know where the North Star is, if you don't have at least one point of reference in your life of like, this is north, this is up, how are you going to know where left is? How are you going to know where right is? How are you going to know where south is,
Right.
And for me, there's two sides to life. There's the physical sensation, what you can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch side. And then there's the spiritual side that's like, science can't explain it. It tries to. It fails. So people are like, oh, that's just hogwash. But like, anyone who's had any sort of spiritual experience or has felt God's hand in their life somehow, even if they don't know exactly who or what God is, that's like stuff you can't really just ignore or deny. And when you actually do put conscious effort into, I want to experience more of that spiritual life. I want to experience, what's the big deal about Jesus or Buddha, or why are they such a big deal? Because there's this unseen something or other that gives our cells and atoms purpose. There's this unseen something or other that creates this moral fabric by, you don't have to really be told what right and wrong is. If you're a human being, you do something really mean to someone, and they're just like, why does this feel bad? And so, this last part, balance, we need a true north. We need a North Star. For me, it's what I've learned through my spiritual experiences and what I've learned through reading Holy Scripture, and because any other good self-help book is probably just influenced by, the good book.
Yep. And
so these last two slices of the pie that illustrate pride, so we go through this journey and we realize that there's sharps and flats in life. There's the hard climbs and the easy meadows. There's the dark night and there's the beautiful daytime. There's right and there's wrong. There's a better way to live and a worse way to live. And people can get up here and argue, oh, there's no such thing as right and wrong. It's just your perception from your culture, blah, blah, blah. If you want to get really basic and really simple, you're a human being. There are better things to eat and worse things to eat for your physical health. It's better to get 8 hours of sleep than 0 hours of sleep, If you don't believe in morals, if you don't believe, you can at least believe in your human living existence, and there's certain things that are going to, bring health, wealth, and happiness to your human life. But how often do you hear about people who have all the money in the world and they feel empty inside, So there's these morals, there's these, universal truths, there's these, this kind of spiritual law that kind of, really runs our hearts. And so we go through this journey and we start to realize throughout our life that, I feel better when I do this than when I do that. And this is where the cycle just starts all over again if we don't have accountability. Like, this is the most important part of the pie. If you don't know anything, you don't have to be accountable to anything. You know, people who live in third world countries are pretty happy because they don't have access to much education. They live a very simple life. Plant some food, eat it, take care of your family, be nice to your neighbor. You just got to be accountable to that.
Yeah.
You know? But we live in this highly advanced society of here's 10,000 different careers you can choose from. Here's 10,000 different colors of shirts you can wear today. Here's 10,000 different belief systems you can choose from. And you're like, okay, you know, what do I do with all this? And so that's when the cycle kind of starts over, you know? Well, I'm going to try this. That kind of, you know, to try something new, it takes some boastfulness or some boldness. Hey, I'm pretty good at this. And you, oh, but that guy's way better. Well, that's okay. He's better in his own way. I'm going to play guitar my way.
Yeah.
You know, and then you kind of learn some stuff, and then you learn a new scale or a new chord, and or create your own, mess around. But so that's kind of the cycle. And in the last imagery, and I'll turn it over to back to Levi, is so there's kind of this guy standing with a little crown, with his arms in the air. And kind of the key to, you know, this whole balance to art thing, we need to be open to life. You know, like I said earlier, if you don't believe in all the spiritual mumbo jumbo, start with just your physical well-being. Eat good food. Stay away from all that processed junk. Drink lots of water. Get plenty of sleep. Exercise, like stuff we learn when we're in kindergarten, you know?
Yeah.
But at least for me personally, like, the thing that I found is when I am taking care of just my physical body, it longs for something more. And I found that through my art, you know? And I was telling Levi earlier, you know, what is art? Some people might be like, there's an art show. I'm not going to watch that. I'm a scientist or I'm an engineer. Like, if you get so wrapped up in your engineering that you forget to eat, you forget to sleep, you forget to go to the bathroom, that's your art. You know? You're caught up in that moment. Because, like, you know, to be human is, I need to eat, I need to sleep. But, like, you know, that's like this ethereal experience of, oh my gosh, I've been playing guitar for 8 hours and I missed like 2 meals and I forgot to call my mom, but that was amazing, you know? And so like that's kind of my challenge to anyone who has maybe had a bad experience with religion or spirituality or God or whatever. Like, find some art, you know, find a way of expressing yourself or expressing something. For me, the reason I enjoy doing art is because, like, I feel like a lot of the time it isn't me. And it's like cool discoveries, like, well, that sounded cool. Where did that come from?
Right.
And it's just like, thank you, you know? And, like, that's just a fun experience to realize that even though we are fragile, we're connected to a greater power, you know? A loving God, a loving creator, a loving something that is like, here's a cool song, man. I want you to play it. And all you had to do was sit there and go, oh, you know? But that's my long tangent. Like,
I think it's awesome what you created. It makes sense.
yeah. So, for you, Levi, when, like, inspiration for a song comes, do you have any way of, like, quantifying or, like, explaining what that feels like, what that experience is like?
You know, every song is pretty different, but a lot of the songs recently, it's as if a little window opens from the skies, and the song just distills upon my soul. Really, it's like it came from somewhere else, and then I'm just the instrument to play it. And some songs are forced and whatever, and we trying to write a song of something we're thinking about and kind of put together, but those ones that just come in the middle of the night or whatever, like you said the other day when you played a chord and you're, wow, I gotta go. Just it's like it was hovering above our head, and it finally came into us, and we discovered it, but we didn't actually make it. It's about how I can explain it. It came from somewhere.
And I think any artist who has that outlook, it's really hard to remain prideful about what you do really at all if you have that outlook, because it's like, I'm just kind of a vessel for these songs to come through, And it really, for years in my prayer life, I felt like I was some horseback rider putting a bit in God's mouth, like, come on, you wild beast, let's go this way. Please, please. I can't make it up this mountain by myself. Come on. Ah. And he just like bucks me off. Because of pride, It's my way, not your way. Then you just let go, and you're like, okay, if you are who you say you are, my loving Father, my loving Creator,
You must know what's better, so I'll
there's that,
try to follow where you want to go. Yeah.
that scripture, if a kid asks his dad for a loaf of bread, does he give him a serpent or a stone? If you then, being evil, can give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give you good gifts? And I really pondered on that for a while. I was like, you know what? I'm going to let go more. And the first time that appears in Scripture, I think it's in like Matthew or something. But the version in Luke is kind of an addition to it. If you then being evil can give good gifts, then how much more will your Father give you the Spirit when you ask for it? And that's been something that's changed my life very dramatically the past few months. Is I used to pray for all these things, all this stuff, all these wishes, all these please, 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 and still expressing gratitude when those things did happen or show up. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done asking for things. I'm just going to ask for one thing. I'm not perfect at it, but please, give me the Spirit. Just give me that gift,
Yeah.
And because when you have that, then you're led to all the places you need to be. You write the songs you're supposed to write.
Help the children that need some help.
Yeah. And it's, for me, life has just become so much less stressful because it's like, you know what's going on? Put me where you want me to be. Mm-hmm. But the important thing, kind of the scary thing, though, is if you do believe in God, there's a devil. So learning how to discern God's voice from other voices. Because you can start going down some weird path like, well, God's been telling me to do this, Warren Jeffs. And that's the beauty of Scripture, It doesn't change. It just sits there. This is what God said. So if you get all these inspirations and you can go back and like, oh, this doesn't check out, glad I checked, But
I think always helping an old lady across the street is good, by the way.
For
it's
sure.
a universal thing.
But yeah, I feel the Spirit most of my life when I am sharing my art with people, when I'm a recipient of other people's art. I keep going on these long tangents, but to come full circle from where I broke off, you know, I was kind of saying to any of the listeners, you know, if you're not sure what art is or what your art is, it's that thing that makes you forget your humanness and you get wrapped up in that moment, you know. Mm-hmm. It could be architecture, could be music, could be painting. And then the key to it is when you share that with other people, do they get drawn into that same moment? Mm-hmm. And that's just a crazy thing to me that, you know, God loves us that much that instead of just being his indentured servants for eternity, doing all these crappy chores for him because we're a bunch of crap heads, he's like, no, here's these gifts that you really enjoy doing, and it makes people happy, and you can like make a career out of it if you want to and feed your family. And even if you don't make a career out of it, when your career that you might not super love gets rough, you can go to this to escape and still make people happy. Mm-hmm. I'm done talking for a while.
Thank you. So you want another song then? Yeah. Well, you made me think of 2 songs. We still okay? Really 3 songs, but I think we're gonna rock the house again. So be prepared for loudness. Loudness. So this song has to do with pride because I had to go to court and I was really upset at this officer of the law. And I was preparing all these things so I could go into court. I was preparing all these things so I could go into court and fight against the man. But I realize now that it has to do with direction as well. Like you're saying, the North Star. And it'll make sense when I sing it. Somebody's out tonight. Somebody's screaming at the moon. If you don't have plans tonight, something's about to change real soon. What's up, New York? Screaming at the moon. If you don't have plans tonight, better get yourself some soon. It's my number one fan. This is one song that came from the heavens, I assure you. I was out praying in the woods, and I kid you not, this song came to me, and I went home, and I put it into the song that I heard. I put it in. So it's called "Oh My Family." I need an alibi, a reason for and why, oh family, why I run and hide. My family, please stand so tall. Oh, my family, you make life worth living at all. My Father, please watch over them. Oh, my family, I know that together we can. Thanks. This one's called Wander by the River. We used to live a block away from the Penobscot River, which is a Native American name in Maine, the Penobscot. And I was down there one night, and I started writing this song. It came to me, same thing, like with a chord. And I stayed up till 5 in the morning until I had it. It was a beautiful night, so just imagine there's stars in the sky, and you're by a river. You see dragonflies up in the night sky, up in the stars. You keep wondering, you ponder, taking a moral inventory of your life. You keep wondering. become the creation of your mind. You keep working, you wonder how to make it right. You wonder running the show anymore. You're not running. You'll never be everything that you'll be without reflection. He said so, you're not running the show anymore. You're not running. You're not running the show anymore. You're not running. What we are is what we made. We only have today, and I can't go back to being 17, and that means no more fun for me. I've waited all my life to find the comfort in my skin. It's been wearing my heart thin. When do I begin? When does my head change from within and give in to the infinite bliss? Oh, whoa, oh, oh, oh. I've waited my whole life to find out who I am, to see through the eyes of love, to see the great I am. If you're wearing a blue shirt, apparently you're pretty cool. Huh? You might be shocked to know, but I don't actually know a cover song. I taught myself how to play, and I don't know how to play anyone's other stuff. So. My wife knows some Beatles for sure. Come on, honey, come up here and sing some Beatles. I'm trying to think of the most ridiculous one. What about that walrus one? Welcome to Salt Lake City. What are the songs we got? Okay, I got a one. You like that one? This one's called The Forest. It's about a camping trip my wife and I took to Moab, Utah. So glad that you already knew that I am the one. Help thinking that we should be somewhere in the forest. So I can see your face floating between the mountains and the moon. Time in Maine has helped my jets to cool. Yeah, it's cool how now we are becoming one. She's got a little baby. Not two. one's called Hello There. I said hello there, how are Let's try it one more time in the right tuning. I said hello there, how are I said, what planet did you come from? Yeah, what planet did you come from that makes you think of those things you I said hello there. I said hello there. How you doing, Red Lion, Salt Lake City? They look bored over there with the people in the eatery. Sorry, guys, we're trying to bring the energy to you. Thanks, man. It's coming from New York, too. What's that? Thanks, man. You wanna... You got one of mine? Honey, anything? Yeah. I got a bunch of old ones. If I haven't played them in so long, I feel bad about playing from you guys. Worth.
Check, checky, check.
All right, well, give it up for Light in the Darkness, Mr. Manley. Oh boy. All right, this is my number one hit single about not getting anywhere in life. It's kind of ironic. It's called I Hit a Wall. long will this last before it drifts into my past? It seems like everything I do, I hit a wall. When I hit this wall, causes me to fall, and when I fall, I don't nearly feel as tall. And it makes me wonder why I even try it all. And it makes me wonder why I even try it all. And it makes me wonder why I even try it all. And it makes me wonder why I even try it all. I feel like a slug dragging along in life. Any obstacle I hit causes so much strife. Why do I move so slow? It's because I fear what I don't know, what I don't know. It seems like everything I do, I hit a wall. And when I hit this wall, causes me to fall. And when I fall, I don't nearly feel as tall. It makes me wonder why I even try it all. And it makes me wonder why I even try it all. And it makes me wonder why I even try it all. And it makes me wonder why I try it all. Yeah. Why do I try it all? Every day I fall on my face. I'm a big disgrace to my family name. Oh yeah, I think I'm a little ashamed, 'cause every time I try to hit this wall, seems like everything I do, I hit this wall. Oh, and when I hit this wall, causes me to fall. And when I fall, I don't nearly feel as all. And it makes me wonder why I even try it all. Why? And it makes me wonder why I even try it all. And it makes me wonder, even try it all. It makes me wonder why I even try it all. Woo! Thank you. Hooey. First song I ever wrote. It's called The Perfect Day. 1, 2, skiddly-doo. Wake up at 6 and I'm feeling fresh. Hopped at my feet and I climb the stairs. Sun greets me with the warmth and glow. Cloud the sky, perfect day. Pour some cereal into a bowl and I thank the Lord for the beautiful day. After I eat, I'm bathed and clothed. I throw my hat and off I go. Cruising the street,
on my back, breathing the air and I start to fly, flying high, flying low. A lot of my friends have to say hello. Hop on your bikes and fly with me. Okay, they reply, happy with me. Go to their houses and grab the bikes. Next thing you know, we're flying like it's a cloudless sky, perfect day. Cloudless sky, hey, hey, hey. Cloudless sky, perfect day. Cloudless sky, take it away. Oh yeah, Jamaica. Up to the sky, up to the moon, feel like a little red balloon. Let's go to the sun. I'm a first cry. Some other day I reply, smiling down a comet's tail. Passing a Martian, I say hello. Let's go back to Earth, like Mom suggests. Sounds like your plan, my friends are the best.
Thank you, thank you. Got a rowdy one for y'all. It's called The River. This will be our final number for the woman with child. Alright, we'll do this one, little Cali, and then we'll be outie.
Floating along the banks, I ride this river. The water's warm, but I start to shiver. It's broad and it's wide, this river that I ride. I float along like a man who's died. Yeehaw, but I'm alive. I'm not a man who's died. Away with the flow to see where it going now. I seem to know. Yeehaw! Away with the flow to see where it go. And now I seem to know. Mama once told me, son, if you don't know where to look, then it won't matter which path you took. Well, Mommy knows best, and it seems I was blind like all the rest. The water looked warm, I joined the swarm, but along the ride I almost died. Yeehaw, but I'm alive. I'm not I survived that ride, that ride. And now I reside on a mountainside. I love the river ride. Away with the flow, the sea we're going. Now I'm high above the river below. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Away with the flow, the sea we're going. Now I'm high above the river below. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
This is about a trip I took to California, and this goes out to St. John's. And good job, Miss Utah. Keep trying. I think I left a piece of my soul in California. Strange, and I think there should have been a sign to warn you. What is it I'm missing? Maybe I should just keep moving. Moving where the sun is so high. Moving where the breeze can clean out these tired eyes. Not sure what I will find. I'm sure it is worth the try. Keep fighting the good fight. Let him have control of my life. I wanted to know how you have. That's why I stopped by. This is our first time actually playing together, so we don't have all the cues down written. Holding down the reset button again, and never quite making it all the way to the end. Well, isn't that the joy of these revolutions? With each new spin there comes a chance at a new solution. I won't get stuck in the way I wish could be. Take time to ponder the gift given so graciously. Now I don't have to keep falling. Open your ears and you can hear him calling. Not sure what I will find. Sure it is worth a try. Keep fighting the fight and let him have my and what things I see. I've been going to church for years and facing many fears, cutting ties to be free. I'm never knowing, I'm still not knowing, I'm not knowing what we ought to be. We're growing and never knowing. We keep on showing what we want to be. Well, you have asked before, well, who am I behind the door? Well, you get what you see. But do you want something different after all your years have been spent with mediocrity? Well, still we're growing and never knowing. I'm still not knowing what it is to believe in a relationship. The fire's going, it keeps on showing. We're always knowing what we ought to be. Through the slowing, we keep on going, we keep on rowing down the street. We keep on going, we're always knowing, it keeps on showing what we ought to be. What's important in my life is seeing through clear skies and knowing God loves me. Woo! Thank you, everybody. You're the best audience I ever had. Thank you, too.